About 4 years ago, I worked as a physiotherapist in a rural district hospital in South Africa. And part of my job entailed meeting with patients in the hospital. And during that time, I met a woman in her late 20s. She had a little child and was involved in part-time employment. And when I met her in the hospital, she had just received surgery to remove her leg from the knee down after illness. And part of my job as a physiotherapist was to come alongside her and support her as she relearned to do the tasks of getting out of bed, bathing herself, taking care of her little one, as well as returning to employment. And it was a real privilege for me to be able to walk this journey with this individual. While she would have been a good candidate to receive an artificial limb or a prosthetic device, she was not able to receive one. And at the time, it's because in South Africa's public health system, we weren't able to procure one for her. Now, sadly, this is not a unique story. In South Africa, there are 26 public universities, 8 of which train rehabilitation providers such as physiotherapists. Once these rehabilitation trainees graduate from university, about 20% of them end up working in the public health system. And this is the health system that most South Africans make use of. Furthermore, of the posts that are available for rehabilitation providers in the public health system, about a third of them remain unoccupied. Now, what these numbers point to is a critical gap in the provision of rehabilitation services such as physiotherapy in South Africa. And this is as it relates to the generation of new rehabilitation providers, whether they end up being absorbed into employment into the public health sector, and whether over time they are retained in the public health sector. And these are really important gaps that are the subject of my thesis and doctoral research. Access to physiotherapy services, I believe, has such a crucial role in rebuilding the lives of individuals after disease or disaster. However, many people, particularly people with disabilities, face a multitude of barriers when accessing rehabilitation services if they require them in the Eastern Cape. And this is particularly because of a variety of barriers. These barriers may be financial barriers associated with the costs of accessing healthcare. They might be social barriers, such as the stigma that people with disabilities encounter from health professionals or the community at large. And some of these barriers are also in the form of inaccessible facilities for people with a wide variety of disabilities, not just movement or physical disabilities. Access to physiotherapy services provides individuals with the opportunity to answer the question of what happens now after disease or disaster has been resolved. And I believe that access to physiotherapy services is an important part of rebuilding peace, rebuilding the lives of individuals so that they can do the things that are important to them. One of the things that I have found great joy in being able to do is being part of a rehabilitation team. And the good news is that physiotherapists are not the only people who are involved in making this a reality. They are occupational therapists. These are rehabilitation providers who are trained in ensuring and enabling individuals return and are reintegrated into society. There are also prosthetists, people who ensure that people have access to artificial limbs when they have lost their own. So physiotherapists, occupational therapists, prosthetists, all form part of this incredible rehabilitation team. This team that works together to enable individuals to live the lives that are important to them so that they can get back to the things that are important to them. I have had the joy of being able to see individuals relearn how to do activities in the hospital. I have seen them take step after step, one step further than the previous day, with or without an assistive device, and they've shown me so much tenacity. And I believe that everyone should have the opportunity to do the things that are important to them. As I mentioned at the start of this talk, I mentioned the lady who wanted to get a prosthetic limb and would have been a good candidate and never received it. But there is another story. As was mentioned earlier, I saw a video that had gone viral on social media about this little boy, hands in the air, dancing around in a circle, doing the things that children should be doing anyways, dancing, playing. And this video taken by his physiotherapist. And this is because this child, along with the rehabilitation team that was with him, whoever they were, enabled that family to answer the question of what happens now. And I think it is a real important and a crucial part of the health system to take part in this effort. I believe that health systems, including those of South Africa, have a real duty to ensure that rehabilitation services are both available and accessible to people with disabilities. And this is where my research comes in. I look at particularly the Eastern Cape, which is classified as one of the most deprived provinces in the country. And I see how to ensure that services are available in that province. Rehabilitation services, don't get me wrong, are not meant to fix people. Rehabilitation services enable people to answer that critical question of what happens now. Rehabilitation services are about rebuilding.